Welcome to the Gritcast, where we get into the nitty-gritty of all things hockey. From the East to the West Coast. Here are your hosts, Matt Pierce, Nikosh Ganguly, and Darius Dominguez.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gritcast. Guys, it's a full episode of the Gritcast after like a 2-month hiatus. And, guys, it's list season. It's time to do our list of each position of the NHL. We're starting with the centers. Next week, we will do the left and right wingers, I think, and then we might wrap up with goalies. Who really knows? But we are doing the centers. Our lists are made. That's a lot of fun. Darius, Matt, how are we doing today, guys? How are we doing? We're back. How are we doing?
Good. And not only are we back, football's back, and that means hockey's not far behind. So ready for that.
I'm actually really excited for this because this means like we're back, baby. We're back.
Yeah.
It's time to argue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's time to argue. Not much news for us to cover. The Leafs brought in what's that guy's name? Noah Gregor.
Gregor.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
Is he gonna play?
Yeah. He's fast. That's what the streets are saying.
Cool.
So yeah.
Sens
But guys,
also signed their defenseman. You know, they got their big boy back there.
Oh,
so.
Sanderson.
eight times 8 basically, which is crazy. He's played 77 games. And he got $64 million. He's good though, so I can't be that mad.
No, yeah.
But guys, let's get into the list. The way we're gonna do it, we're gonna each, go number by number, like how most video content creators do their list if there's more than one person. First though, let's start with our honorable mentions. Matt, I think the order will go Matt, Darius, and me, and we'll just do that the whole thing. Matt, who are your honorable mentions? If there was more than one.
I've only got one honorable mention, and I'm going to start off with a hot take here. Tage Thompson is my honorable mention. He did not crack my top 10.
Okay.
I can't hate
Darius?
that. I'm excited to see your list though because that's very interesting. Honorable mentions. I have to say Sebastian Aho did not crack my list. I know that might be an interesting pick, but he did not crack my list. Sebastian Aho and Mika Zibanejad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's good. So I have a few honorable mentions actually. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was really looking forward to this, so I did a lot of work on it. I'd like a lot of math, a lot of spreadsheets. Like, don't get mad at me because my list is decently analytics based, but also like, I was doing my list and it was like this person's better than McDavid, and I'm like, okay, he's probably not better than McDavid. So obviously I put McDavid where he's gonna be. You guys can probably guess where he's gonna be. But I have a couple honorable mentions. So my most surprising honorable mention, I'll save that. But obviously I had Tage Thompson. I had one of my big honorable mentions, two of them. Rupe Hintz didn't make my list. Very good player. I dove into his numbers. He's very good. Maybe next year he'll make it. Matty Beniers also. He was like pretty decently high for me. He was pretty high in my model per se. He graded out really well. And guys, Sidney Crosby was one of my honorable mentions.
Oh boy.
He actually didn't crack my list. I had him at number 9, for 48 hours. I mean, I realized I forgot a player, and Crosby got the boot because of that. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crosby. But, to be honest, man, if I, spend, another day making this list, Crosby could probably make my list. But there was a player I really wanted to put in the list kind of personally, just to be like, I believe in this guy. I might be projecting a little, but I think it's good. But, Matt, hey, man, let's get into the list, all right? Number 10,
Yes, sir.
Matt.
Number 10.
Here we go.
From the Vegas Golden Knights, I'm going with Mr. Jack Eichel.
Okay. Why, Matt?
You guys might have him higher. It seems like he wasn't the player he wanted to be in Buffalo until he got to Vegas. 34 games last year, 2021-22 with Vegas. Of course, they missed the playoffs, but this year, nearly a point per game, 66 points in 67 games. But where he really turned it on was the playoffs, and he was 26 points in 22 games. It seems like as the playoffs went on, Jack Eichel reminded the world who exactly he was when he went second overall in the 2015 draft. There was that line, it was him, Barbashev, and Marchessault. That was just a possession machine, especially against Edmonton, because even though Edmonton gave Vegas the hardest push, Vegas just rolled them over in 6 games. So yeah, Jack Eichel, not much more I can say on that. But he reminded the world who he was.
I have him in a similar-ish spot, so I can't be mad at that.
Yeah.
Darius, who do you have at number 10, man?
Number 10, ladies and gentlemen, From the Buffalo Sabres, it is Mr. Tage Thompson. 47 goals, 47 assists, 94 points in 78 games. Beast. On a team that did not make the playoffs. I don't know where this guy came from in the last 2 years, but he's the real deal. Like, I don't know what he's eating. I don't know what he changed about his workout routine, but he's a beast. He's super tall, too. Like, super versatile center. Like, if you put that guy in the playoffs, like, if the Sabres make the playoffs this year, I don't know, man. That's exciting. So, yeah, one of the most exciting players in the league for me personally. So he takes my number 10 spot, and I think we have to put some respect on his name. I want to see him in the playoffs. The Sabres better make the playoffs this year. I think they have a chance. So that's my number 10.
Yeah, and I think when we go into like the left wingers list, you'll see Alex Tuck maybe crack one of our lists or two of our lists. We'll see what happens there. But my take on Tage Thompson, just because he wasn't on my list, he was very close. I would have had him at like 12 maybe, but still really close. I just going into his advanced stats, I didn't like his defensive prowess. As Darius said, he's a god offensively, lethal shot. He's huge. He has hands like crazy. As you said, like how many goals did he have? I don't even remember. 47. What was it? Yeah, 40. Yeah, I think he had 47 goals and 47 assists. It was right down the middle. Yep. He's a great player, man. I think next year easily he cracks my top 10, but just has to maybe round on his defensive game a little, and then he'll easily crack my top 10. But guys, let me get into my number 10 spot. For me, number 10 from the New Jersey Devils is going to be Nico Hischier, actually.
Okay.
So,
nice.
Nico Hischier, personally, I haven't watched him too much, but I've seen a decent amount from the playoffs, especially. The guy is a fucking monster on both ends of the ice. Production is amazing. He was basically point per game, 80 points in 81 games. He's taking the tough matchups. He's known as more of a two-way defensive center. And when I was doing my rankings, I was looking at like wins above replacement, goals above replacement, all that good stuff. Nico Hischier was insane, man. He ranked third in even strength defensive goals above replacement. He was where else was he? He was like first in just like in another defensive stat that I was looking at. He was just amazing and decent offensive stats too. He's a great play driver. He's playing, as I said, the tougher matchups where Jack Hughes gets played a little more freely, but I'm sure Jack Hughes has a tougher quality competition. But yeah, man, Nico Hischier, I was juggling between having him in my honorable mentions or at number 10, but Nico Hischier, man, is my number 10 spot. I don't know what you guys think about that pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I had him top 15, but I didn't have him to crack the top 10 list.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
Not on my list either, but I don't hate the pick. I think he's a very good defensive center as well. Like, he's very underrated. A lot of people don't think about him. So, and he's a big part of why the Devils are the team they are now. Mm-hmm. Like, I know the flashy Jack Hughes and whatever, but he's a big part of that. So I don't hate that pick.
Thank you. All right, Matt, who do you have at number 9?
From the Tampa Bay Lightning, Braden Point. It almost seemed like it was a bounce back year. Finally played another full season for the first time since his sophomore year in 2017-2018. And he had 51 goals. And I feel like that's like the most quiet 50-goal season in quite some time. You didn't really hear anybody talking about it because everybody was talking about Connor hitting 60, of course. But he's just one of those guys that like you don't see it until like in the playoffs where he's a difference maker. And I feel like if he was healthy against Colorado last year in the Cup final, it could have been a lot tougher. He's got that chemistry, of course, with Kucherov there, and he's just fun to watch. I don't really have much on his possession metrics in the playoffs. That's where he really turns it up. If I can get to that in a second, like the 2020, the bubble year, like 14 goals. Next year, another bubble year, 14 goals again, and he was quiet the last 2 playoff years, but he's one of those guys that just turns it up once the spring hits.
That's a good pick. Darius, who did you have at actually, let me just say right now, I also have Braden Point at number 9, just so like we don't have to waste time there. But Darius, who do you have at number 9?
Well, you can go into your stats too. I know you like put work into it, but if you want to go ahead. We can go out of order.
Well, I was gonna say Braden Point, like Matt said, doesn't have his possessions numbers. I actually do. I did pull some of those up. Let me just see if I can open it here. But yeah, Braden Point is just sick, man. I did the averages of the rankings. Like I took even strength offense, even strength defense, defense, and then just overall goals above replacement and wins above replacement. And to me, he averaged at about 8.83 in terms of the rankings. So I had a short list of about 21 centers that I did, and he was, just in that 9 range is where I ended up placing him. I think he does benefit a lot from playing with the Kucherov and the Stamkos, of course. Maybe you put Point on a different team, he's not producing as much. But as Matt said, 51 goals, most quietest 50-goal season ever, 95 points or something. It's undeniable. You have to put a guy like that in your top 5, I think, especially, or in your top 10, like, especially because he's been doing it for a couple of years. I would like to see him maybe drive his own line a little more. That would maybe help me put him higher, or just, be a little bit more strong defensively. But I think number 9 is a good spot for him. So, yeah, Braden Point, number 9, same as Matt.
We're only at number 9, and I'm realizing that our lists they're going to look a little different, I think, which is not a bad thing, not a bad thing. My number 9, a man who I believe has finally arrived, because there's a lot of hype around him, especially when he got drafted, from the New Jersey Devils, Jack Hughes. Okay? Yeah. 99 points, 78 games. He's arrived. It's point blank. He had 11 points in 12 playoff games this year as well, even though it didn't end well for the Devils. But he showed out, and he's a franchise player, in my opinion. Okay? Like, the Devils finally have their guy, and he has not hit his ceiling yet either. Like, he's going to get better, and hopefully they make the playoffs again. They look like they should. They probably should.
They definitely will.
They definitely will, especially in that division. But I think he has a lot more to give as well, and that team is only going to get better. So yeah, he is my number 9. I really like Jack Hughes. I think he's only going to get better.
That's a good pick. I like Jack Hughes. I'm a little higher, so I'll get into my reasoning once we get to him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Jack Hughes at number 9 I think is a fine spot. It's cool. I don't have any. Honestly, I haven't had any problems with any of your guys' placements. I think we've been pretty productive so far. But now we're going to go on to number 8 here. Matt, who do we have at number 8, man?
You might have a problem with this at number 8, but I'm gonna have Sidney Crosby. You can't count the guy out. Like, 36 years old. That doesn't matter. Last year, 93 points, 82 games. He might not have Gensel to start the season. He probably will not have Gensel to start the season, but that doesn't matter because he's got, Malkin. He's got newly acquired Erik Karlsson. He's got new weapons for sort of a last dance, if you will, and watch him go on to play like 5 more years. But what else can you say about Sidney Crosby? Like, he's done it all, and he's continuing to do so, even as he gets into the twilight of his career.
Yeah, and Crosby literally was like 11th for me. So I don't think 8 is that big of a difference. But Matt, like you said, man, it was hard. Dude, it was so hard for me to not put Crosby on my list. I hope the viewers don't get too mad. I really wanted to. I just wanted to give some more respect to Nico Hischier. But dude, Sidney Crosby, like you said, he's a goddamn monster. The way I made my list, just saying now, it was kind of, I heavily weighted this past season that just happened and projected a little going into the next season. But like you said, man, just amazing. He's still so good. His play driving has dropped off like slightly. He's still amazing. One of the best centers in the league, of course. But just in my rankings, I didn't like I'm very like, I look to look at offense and defense. Of course, I think when you're a center, offense is of utmost importance. But he was lower in my rankings in terms of just defensive play driving. He was super high offensively, which is what made him come out of my list. But I couldn't be mad at you having Crosby from anywhere from like even 6 to 10. I wouldn't be mad at that. So yeah, that's a good pick, Matt, at 8.
I had him a little bit higher, and then as I was going through, I said, like he's not dead in the water. He's still
not
good,
even close. No, not even close.
No.
But for me, I sort of had him towards the bottom of the list.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Darius, who'd you have at number 8, my guy?
Number 8, we've heard his name before so far today. Just won the Stanley Cup. It's Mr. Jack Eichel from the Vegas Golden Knights. Obviously, didn't play the full season, but he was basically point-a-game player, 66 and 67. What is there to say about his playoff production? I mean, only 6 goals, but he would, like, I know Marchessault was the goal scorer through the run, right? But he was feeding him all day. 26 points in 22 games en route to a Stanley Cup. He finally found his groove. He's a great player. He was a great player in Buffalo, but now in Vegas, superstar, absolute superstar. So I'm excited to see what he continues to do in Vegas. Because I don't know, they look like they could win another Stanley Cup. But probably, right? But yeah, Jack Eichel, freaking superstar. I'm excited to see him play a full season.
Yeah, and I'll get into Eichel. He's just like a little bit higher on my list, but I will be getting into him sooner than later.
Yep.
But yeah, Darius, like you said, that's a good pick. That's a good range for him. I feel like Matt also got him at a good range. I think we've had most of these like guys like Eichel. We've had at the same range here. But guys, my number 8 is going to be from the Florida Panthers. It's going to be Alexander Barkov.
All right.
I think in other years he would be a little bit higher. I didn't think he had the greatest regular season. He was hurt a little. I know his point protection stands strong there, but I didn't like his play driving numbers. A lot of the play driving was because of Makachuk, arguably the greatest winger in the world. So that was that to me. And I think Barkov, if I make this list next year, he could be number 5. I waited this past season pretty heavily. If I can just pull up his stats here. Hold on a second. So yeah, Barkov, 78 points in 68 games, 23 goals. That's pretty decent output. He was 1.14 points per game. And in the playoffs, where was he here? He had what was it? 16 points in 21 games. So maybe you would have liked a little more from him there. He only had 5 goals. I think there was an injury there or something. I'm not sure. But, you want a cup finals run, you got to give some respect to him. And then, obviously, perennially, he's an amazing Selke finalist basically every year. Now that Bergeron retired, maybe it's Barkov's trophy to lose. But just based on, weighing last season a little more heavily and projecting a little, Barkov is my 8th best center in the NHL.
Speaking of Bergeron, it's kind of weird to make a list of top centers and not have him on it.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, like the guard has changed.
When I went to Boston, like when I make my list, I look at each team and be like, oh, this guy could be top, whatever. And then I was like, oh, Bergeron. Oh, the guy doesn't play anymore.
He's done.
So yeah. I couldn't include him. So yeah, right now our lists are this. At 10, Matt has so Matt's list is Jack Eichel, Braden Point, then Sidney Crosby. Darius' list is Taze Thompson, Jack Hughes, then Jack Eichel. And my list is Nico Hischier, Braden Point, then Alex Barkov. So let's get into number 7 here. Matt, who do we have at number 7?
Funny you had Barkov at 8 because I had Barkov at 7. Like the way he plays, he's yet to log more than one full season. He's only played 82 games once because of that tough play style, right? Two-way, it's not easy on you. But he's fantastic when he's healthy. Like you said, down year, 78 points, 68 games, and then the playoffs. You'd expect a little more from him, but it was that boring Maurice style, right? So, I mean, Barkov, like you said, excellent at both ends of the ice. Not much more you can say about him. Perennial Selke candidate.
Mm-hmm.
At number 7 for myself, Alex Barkov as well. I think
Wow.
he needs a little more. I think he needs a little more respect on his name. We've been saying for years he's underrated. I still think he's underrated just because of the way people talk about him. Like you guys have said, needed a little bit more out of him in the playoffs. I think it was the style of play that the Panthers played. Tkachuk played a huge role in their run anyway. He was probably the only reason they made the final. He was a beast. But
Bob, don't put some respect on Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah, no, true.
Come on.
That's true. You got to score goals too, though. But 78 points in 68 games, very good output. He was injured as well. He's probably injured in the playoffs. He's probably at this point the best defensive center in the league. Like with Bergeron gone, he's right up there. So
I think he is. Yeah,
I think he's right up there, 1 or 2. So
ever since his rookie year, he's been like in the Selke voting.
Has to be. Yeah,
Bergeron was just so fucking good.
I know, but I just love his play style too. Just eye test wise, I like watching him play, and yeah, he's my number 7. Not much more to say. He's just super underrated, and I like the way he plays.
Yeah, that's I respect that. I feel like we've all had, number 10 is always interesting, but aside from that, we've all had players in the same kind of range.
Same range. Yeah. It's about to get interesting.
So at my number 7, I'm gonna have you guys had him a little bit higher. I'm gonna from the Vegas Golden Knights. Jack Eichel is gonna be my 7th best center here. Like Matt said, a little bit of a down season. Well, not even down season. He just didn't play that many games. But one of my main reasons he is so high on my list is because he was absolutely electric in the playoffs. I know he didn't score that many goals, but just an elite playmaker, great play driver. Not the worst player defensively either. On my list, he ranked relatively high on almost every metric. He was kind of middle of the pack defensively, which is decent for a center of his stature. You'd maybe like to see some more goals out of him in the playoffs, but for his first playoff run, arguably could have been the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. That went to Marchessault, which is whatever. You
Probably
don't care
should
at
have
that
been
point.
in my eyes,
Yeah.
but anyway.
But honestly, for me, if you give Jack Eichel a full season with that line, because Barbashev re-signed, he could maybe even shoot higher on my list. I'm a big Jack Eichel fan. I couldn't really admit it when he was in Buffalo because I hate the Sabres. But now that he's on Vegas, I fucking love that guy. So Jack Eichel is my number 7.
Don't hate it.
All right,
We're
Matt.
onto number 6 here.
Yep.
Within the division, the Pacific Division, I'm gonna go with from the Vancouver Canucks, Mr. Elias Pettersson.
Ooh.
Like the jump from last year to this year, 68 points to 102, playing with no names. Wait, he had like Kuzmenko in his line. I forget
Hey,
who else he
Kuzmenko had
had.
like 40 goals.
I know,
Stupid,
crazy.
didn't he? That was wild.
Anybody can tap in goals, but yeah, I think Pedersen's dynamic. He's like one of the only shining stars of that Canucks team because I mean, you really have nobody else. You got Kuzmenko,
Quinn Hughes,
Leafs
put some
legend,
respect.
Ilya
Put some
Mikheyev,
respect.
Quinn Hughes, Thatcher Demko whenever he's healthy. So yeah, yeah,
That's crazy, bro.
That's awesome.
Pedersen because like before he was always like his rookie season 66 points, sophomore 66 points, 21 points in the Canadian division because he was injured, and then 68 points, and then 102. Like that's massive. The guy can do it all. He can block shots. He plays. I think he plays both the power play and the penalty kill.
Dude,
Fairly
I'll get
certain
into him. I'll get into him. His defensive stats are absolutely crazy.
because he
insane.
had he was tied for the league lead in shorthanded goals last year. He had 5. So I mean, he can do it all.
Yeah, he's great. Great fucking player. Yeah. All right,
Made
Darius.
it. All right.
Who do you have? Who do you have?
Number 6. We've heard his name before again. We got to give it to the veteran, Mr. Sidney Crosby. I didn't want to put him too high because I don't think he's quite there anymore. But I didn't want to put him too low either because you got to put some respect on his name. Still had 93 points. Mr. Iron Man himself played all 82 games last year. Unfortunately, didn't make the playoffs, but, I think they will this year. Penguins look a little bit better this year. But what is there to say about Sidney Crosby, honestly, guys? Like, he's in there automatically.
Nothing.
Like his pedigree,
Nothing at this point.
he's still putting up those numbers. He's stupid with his assists every year. Great defensively as well. I would like to see him in the playoffs and go for it one last time. But yeah, Sidney Crosby at 6.
Yeah.
It was good to see him bounce back like 10 years ago when he had the concussion issues.
Oh yeah.
And everyone was like, can he go any longer? And then, I mean, 2 cups later,
Definitely
right?
could.
Definitely
Yeah.
could, man.
Could, eh?
And he's still going. I mean, look at his point production. It's just the team that's kind of weighing him down. Like, he's still there. Like, he's not an anchor.
Yeah, dude. Like I know I left Crosby. Crosby literally 11th on my list. Like if you were to look at my rankings, but if you give him Erik Karlsson, he might go a little higher on my list next year. We'll see. But guys, my number 6, the second New Jersey Devil center I have on my list, Jack Hughes. This guy is just fucking crazy, man. I love Jack Hughes. I was high on him a little earlier than most, I want to say. I drafted him in fantasy like 2 years ago when he went on that crazy point per game run and then he injured himself, which pissed me off, but it's fine. Like Darius said, man, basically in a 100-point season, people slept on him after his rookie year, but the guy is fucking insane. And you look at the weapons that the Devils have now on the wing, Timo Meier, Tyler Toffoli, who they got for like nothing.
Oh, I
and
forgot
he might
about
even
that.
Tyler Toffoli might even make my top 10 wingers list with the season he had last year. But they're just like Dougie Hamilton on the back end. That power play is going to be lethal. Their offense is going to be lethal. And who drives all that offense? It's Jack fucking Hughes. So yeah, he ranks super high in all my metrics here. I'm just trying to see where he was defensively. Defensively, maybe you want a little more out of him. Happens with a lot of like young centers. But he has Nico Hischier as a blanket for him defensively, which is another reason why he made my top 10. Nico Hischier really enables Jack Hughes to be as great as he fucking is. But yeah, Jack Hughes is my 6th best center in the NHL going into next season, fellas. Matt, we are into
It's
the top
5
5
time, baby.
We're into the top 5. So who do you have at number 5, Mr. Matt P?
You had Jack Hughes at number 6, and I have Jack Hughes at number 5. I
let's
mean,
go.
you and Darius have pretty much said it all about the kid. Like 99 points, 78 games. That Devils team is a wagon. Like Nick said, Toffoli, Timo Meier, a young Dawson Mercer. They still got like tons of prospects like Alexander Holtz, Jesper Bratt, Andre Palat, and then I mean, this is
That team is
ridiculous.
fucked. That team is
This
fucked.
team is ridiculous. Let's hope they not run into the Rangers again, because
Didn't
that
they
might
beat the
that might
Rangers?
get crazy. Yeah, they beat the Rangers, but you never
They
know.
did.
You never know. That team,
No, the
like
Rangers stink.
that series was brutal. But I mean, yeah, Jack
Matt,
Hughes.
Matt said it was over. Matt said it was
I-
over. Never forget that
that-
shit.
that-
Two
that never
games.
happened.
After 2 games.
But
Matt
yeah,
said
he's
it was
almost
over.
he was almost a point per game in the playoffs, like 11 points, 12
Dude,
12
he's
games.
so good. That guy's so good.
The only thing that he could really like improve on is like his face-offs, because last year like he was at 35%. But I mean,
Dude,
you can't really.
You know what I've noticed?
What
You
have
know
you
what I've noticed? Like, a lot of these, like, young, good centers, they kind of get cooked on the draw.
Yeah, I mean that
Like-
that almost comes with experience, because I mean you don't come into the league expecting to cook everybody.
Yeah.
No, it does
like,
come
you're
with
going against,
experience.
you're going up against guys like Ryan O'Reilly and, like, Patrice Bergeron.
And,
Like,
like
I remember,
Crosby that like openly
Yeah.
cheat on face-offs, and they know it. They did it.
that clip of him, like, with, like, who was it, Evan Rodriguez against the Sabres, that shit is so funny, bro. But yeah, Matt, I think all three of us nailed the Jack. What can you say about Jack Hughes? Of course, maybe some different rankings on how we view him, but me and Matt have him in the same range. I know Darius had him a little higher, but respect for Jack Hughes, man. That guy's fucking amazing. All right, Darius, who is your number 5 pick, man?
Guys, this is when my list gets a little crazy. Okay, no judgments. All right, number 5 from the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's Austin Matthews, 5th in the league. Okay,
5th. That's bold as hell.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll say that right now.
5th in
I had
the
him
league.
higher.
5th in the
Damn.
league. All right. I still think he had good production, even though it was quote unquote a down year for him. I think that 60 goal season really set him up for failure, because everyone expects 60 goals now. But honestly, still a very good season. I love where he's going defensively with his game. He was obviously injured last year, and he was finding ways to be productive and be on the plays, especially in the playoffs. So I love that from him. Obviously plays for my favorite team, so I would hope that he's in top 5 in my list. But yeah, I love everything I see from him. A lot of people give him a bad rap and all that, but honestly, Austin Matthews, absolute stud. And fellas, is 44 points in 50 career playoff games bad? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, Matthews doesn't show up in the playoffs."
Well,
I
there
don't
was
think that's that
that. He's had 2 series where he just like didn't do anything. There was one Boston series where he did
Yeah, where
nothing
he
and
didn't
like
do
2
much.
assists, and then the Montreal
Those
series.
2 Boston series just kind of mold into the same for me.
Yeah, no, they were
They
bad.
don't
Like,
for me.
one
They
had
don't for me,
Tavares, one
Matt.
They
didn't.
don't for me.
They don't
One
for
was
me,
quite
Matt.
close. One was much closer than the other, Matt. But yeah, Austin
Boston
Matthews.
7 though. Anyway, yeah, Matthews number 5.
Austin Matthews at number 5. I know that's pretty bold, but that's just how I feel. I think he's primed for a big season here, but I'm just going based off last year's playoffs and season.
Well, actually, I don't know. I don't think we all the same top 5. I have a guy at number 4 who you guys might be a little surprised about. But I guess I'll get into my number 5.
I'm excited to see
I
this.
guess I'll get into my number. My number 5 is actually from the Edmonton Oilers. Number 29 is going to be Leon Draisaitl. I'm going to have him at 5th. I know, it might be a little low, but there is a method to my madness here, fellas. I think Draisaitl is an amazing player. As I like, number 5 is not a knock on anyone. It's top 5 center in the league. Some might argue he's the top 5 talent in the league. I would maybe beg to differ just a little, but dude, Leon Draisaitl is fucking crazy, bro. Insane goal scorer, one of the best in the league. Insane point production, one of the best in the league. I think my problem with him is when I dive into the advanced numbers, they love him. I just have 4 players that I think they love a little more than that. I think he could maybe improve just a little defensively. I prefer centers who are good defensively. Obviously, he spends like 90% of his time in the ozone, but his defensive metrics are some of the worst in the league. Like in the upper echelon of centers. When I was running my numbers, Tage Thompson was like by far the worst, but Draisaitl was also pretty down there. So which is that reason. But I have nothing really majorly bad to say about the guy. It's just how my list worked out. He's fucking amazing. He's like 100 plus points every year, no doubt. Sometimes 115 plus, sometimes 120 plus. The guy's fucked. He's really good. I just think the 4 guys I have above him just are, in the metrics I looked at, just a little bit better play drivers. But we're still looking at the best of the best. The elite of the elite. So yeah, Leon Draisaitl is, my 5th best center in the NHL right now.
With number 4, he was mentioned already, and I'll mention him once more, and I'm sure Nick will later on. From the Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews. I mean, yeah, like Darius said, it was a down year, but I mean, 85 points. It's not really a down year. I mean, for Matthews stats wise, it is, but he's just phenomenal. Like at all ends of the ice. Like his defensive game is phenomenal. Offensive game is phenomenal. Yeah, I can't really point out a weakness because I mean, injuries. You can only do so much with them, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't hate that.
Austin Matthews is
One
fine.
spot lower than mine. Don't hate it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, man. I thought you would have him just a little higher than that.
I think you thought that because I am a Leafs fan, but honestly, if we're like, I don't know. We'll see the rest of my list. We'll see what you guys think. But anyway,
I had him high, but like Leafs bias aside, just like
right. No,
whatever,
he is a good player. He is a very good
I'll get
player.
into
Yes,
it.
but anyway.
I'll get into it.
Also,
Nah,
Draisaitl at
he-
5 is crazy, Nick. But anyway, let's move on. Number 4, Nathan McKinnon. Okay, guys.
at
Might be-
number 4,
Might be a little high for him. Okay.
Wait a minute.
McKinnon.
Wait,
Now
wait,
I know
you had
what you're
Matthews
thinking.
At 5. Wait. You had Matthews at 5. Draisaitl at what? Sorry. You had Matthews at 5. McKinnon at 4.
Yep. And there's
What the
3
fuck?
left. Yep. So
Okay.
we'll get to that.
I know who you're not. I know.
I am intrigued
All
on
right.
number 2 and 3. All right, fire away.
All right. Well, why? Who's number 1, Matt? Anyway, number 4, Nathan McKinnon. What is it to say about Nathan McKinnon? Stanley
24
Cup winner?
weeks, save your money.
Yeah. Stanley Cup winner. 107 points in 70 games this year. Missed a couple games. In the playoffs, obviously lost in 7 games to the Kraken, but him and Rantanen dragged that lifeless team full of injuries to that game 7. Like, they probably should have got stomped by the Kraken considering the roster they had. But he was just showing how a stud he is.
Dude.
What?
I just want to say, I'm not trying to knock you. This is just an
Yeah.
observation. Just that Colorado Seattle series was so sad to watch sometimes.
I know.
Like literally it was exactly what you said. Like you would have McKinnon and Rantanen go out there, then they'd kill 7 minutes. Then McKinnon and Rantanen would go back out there. Then they'd kill 7 minutes. Then McKinnon and Rantanen would, it's like, dude, you were sitting there just waiting for McKinnon and Rantanen to get back on the ice.
But I
Like,
think
because-
that really sold. Like, I know he's won a Stanley Cup, but last year that playoff series really sold me on the fact that, like, okay, this guy is
Yeah.
an absolute game breaker, right? Like, he is a top center in the NHL. Because before that, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, he's Nathan McKinnon, whatever. Yeah, he puts up points or whatever. You know what I mean?
His point production was insane this year too.
Oh, I know
Like,
it.
when I
That
looked
too
at
in
it,
the
I was like,
regular
damn.
season. Like, he's like
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, I'm excited to see if they can like get a team together again. To see what he can do.
Jonathan Druin, bro. Come
Yeah,
on.
we'll see. Yeah, the Mooseheads are back, baby.
Yeah, the
so...
the Moose. I was gonna say, ever since I watched McKinnon in the 2013 Memorial Cup, I was like, this guy's good. He's gonna be something one day.
Yeah, he might be okay. Like he
Yeah.
might be.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
So,
yeah,
and here we
I
are.
like that's fine for McKinnon. I think I don't mind that.
Number 4, Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. All right.
Number 4,
Shit. I
Nick?
guess it's me.
Yeah.
I guess it's me. This is the guy. I'm gonna be honest. I'm super high on this guy. A lot based on last season. My number 4 is from the Vancouver Canucks. It's Elias Pettersson. I think that guy had a fucking insane season. Like you said, Matt, 102 points in whatever games on that shit ass team Vancouver with no one else on them. Those losers. But yeah, that guy was insane. But my thing was, I was talking to some people in the industry about my list. You know, people I trust and their opinions. And I was really diving into Elias Pettersson's on ice shooting percentage. For those who don't know what that means, is basically, you know, the shooting percentage for your team when you're playing. So it's like, you know, it kind of accounts for your own shooting percentage, your ability to play make, and just, you know, be a good player. So last year when Pettersson had that down season, 68 points in 80 games or whatever, his on-ice shooting percentage was the lowest of his career. No, he wasn't putting pucks in the net, and nobody around him was putting pucks into the net. 7.8%. That's super low because when you look at fucking Pettersson's on-ice shooting percentage right now, his career average is 10.7. So he's 3% below that. And this year, back up to normal. He's playing with players who can actually put the puck in the net. You know, maybe not Ilya Mikheyev, but like Kuzmenko, for example. And JT Miller, you know, that guy has his defensive warts, but he still puts up a lot of points. 12.2 on-ice shooting percentage. The guy was elite. Just looking at his raw fucking metrics, 102 points, 39 goals in 80 games. Before that, like Matt said, a little down season, or only 68 and 80. Before that, it's been basically a consistent point per game player. I've always liked Pedersen. I think this was the year he finally breaks out, and I think his season was just superb for me to put him at number 4. Personally, he's also hold on. I did want to say this. I was looking at his defensive metrics. Like Matt said, penalty kills, led the league in penalty kill goals. The guy is a fucking monster defensively. It's like he's like, it was like Bergeron levels of like just defensive control, on the ice. He's dominating at both ends. Like I was so surprised that he was this good. That's the reason I put him this high. Like I said, I weighted last season pretty heavily, and that's my case for Elias Pettersson. The guy's fucking insane, man. I don't know how he did it, but that's why he's number 4 for me.
Number 3, from the Edmonton Oilers, Mr. Leon Draisaitl. This is where like my bias comes into play here. Like, he's not the greatest defensively, I can admit that, but he's almost like a player that like waits for the moment to arise rather than like trying to make it himself. Like, he waits for the perfect moment to strike, pickpocket somebody, intercept the puck. And I feel like his playmaking, like, he's the best passer in the league, but you should see how many of those passes, like the backhand spinorama passes, that don't connect. Or you're thinking, why are you doing that at a time like this? But like, he's a machine. Dude's fantastic on the power play. One might even say he's a power play merchant, but he's automatic. It's almost like when you go to the box.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, that's power play merchant anyway. Continue.
That is.
When you see the Oilers, like 2 minutes on the power play, you're like, okay, this is going to be quick.
It's a goal. Like I just remember, like, the Oilers will be down like 3-0. You hear a whistle blow. Someone's going in the box on their team. And you're like, well, you got about 30 seconds still. Bouchard, McDavid, or Hyman, or Draisaitl, or Nugent-Hopkins. One of these guys are going to put the puck in the net. Like, McDavid and Draisaitl already have, like, some of the best vision in the league. And then you take away a player that's going to get in their way. Like, come on, man. Let's get a little real. It's unfair. That's why the Oilers mount a lot of comebacks. One of the reasons, sorry, man, not to cut you off. I knocked Draisaitl a little. Just like you said, like, his defensive warts are a little there, just looking at the metrics. And, like personally, I don't really think being good on the power play is a negative asset, because Draisaitl's amazing at the power play and also good at even strength. I think it becomes a problem when you're like so shit at even strength and you're only good on the power play. But yeah, Draisaitl's great, man. I just had him a little lower. Darius?
Number 3. Any guesses? It's off the board.
I don't even...
Who haven't you said yet?
It's very off the board.
I don't know. All right,
I'll go.
You guys gonna put Sebastian
Which team?
You want me to just say it? I'll go ahead and say it.
Yeah,
I'll get into it. Number 3 from the Dallas Stars, Roope Hintz. I'll let it sink in.
Number 3?
I'll let it sink in for a second. I'll let it sink in.
You know what? I'm here.
Number 3,
baby. What do you mean? You know what? That's a fucking terrible pick.
No, it's not a terrible pick.
Roope
you know
Hintz
what?
is better than
Matt is
Austin
onto
Matthews?
Something. Matt is onto. Yes.
I did research. Okay, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. I know he had a good playoffs, so continue.
I'm on to something. I don't even know what I said.
He had a very good season. Dallas plays a really crappy style of play. It's very boring. Okay, very defensive, and they don't score a lot of goals. That's why they rely on Ottinger, and then he has crappy games, and then they lose. But anyway, yeah, Roope Hintz. I loved his playoff run. He was the best player in the playoffs.
Since he started.
I think he's great.
No, he's a very, very good player. I know it's a little higher than you guys would put him. He wasn't even on your list. But I fell in love with this player last year.
He was like 12 for me.
No, I fell in love with this player last year, and he was the best player in the playoffs, I think. He scored like clutch goals, man. Like when they needed goals, he was there. I don't see that out of a lot of other guys, especially centers. So yeah, I loved Roope Hintz last year. He's high on my list. I hope he continues it into this year. And hopefully Dallas can start playing a more exciting style of hockey, because they're a very boring team with some exciting players like Hintz and Robertson.
I think
yeah.
I'm appalled at that pick. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's fucking crazy. I think Roope Hintz is very good. I would have had him between. I would have had Roope Hintz at like the 8 to 12 range. I think if I really wanted to shoehorn him in there. Just looking at the stats here, he was very good. The guy had what was it? 99? No, that's wrong. He had 75 points, 73 games.
About a point.
So that's decent, man. About a point per game player. In the playoffs, he was quite good. What's that? 24 points in 19 games, 10 goals. That's really good as well.
Yeah, he's barely top 15 for me.
Yeah, I think putting him above.
I like the player.
I think putting him above Who did you have? Fucking
above
I
McKinnon, Matthews.
I don't think Rupe Hintz is anywhere close to Nathan McKinnon or Austin Matthews, man. I
Or
don't.
Hughes.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's. I don't know, man.
These are our lists.
That's
They're
what
very
we-
subjective.
that's what we-
They're very subjective.
That's what we
lists.
call content, baby. Instantly.
Yeah, that's good news.
That's
Look, I'm gonna flat out say it. That's a fucking terrible pick, dude. I don't know how you put him. I don't know how you put him that high. That's fucked.
because he's that high.
He was literally, okay, looking at my list right now, he was 12th. He was 12th on my list. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
Did you watch the Western Conference playoffs, Nick?
I watched all the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm
when
not
Vegas
basing,
shelled them.
okay, but I'm also not basing my number 3 on 20 games in the playoffs.
Recency
What the
bias.
fuck?
No, but it's also regular season and and not even last regular season, the season before that.
No, he's good. He's just not third.
I think he's super
He's
underrated.
great.
A lot of people don't talk about him, and he's up there. He's up there. If he played for another team,
So-
then like if he played for a Canadian team, then we'd be talking about.
Yeah, but that's what they fucking Nick Suzuki's arguably a top 10 center because the house fucking
Not there
you
yet.
know. But that's fucked. That threw me off. I'm not gonna lie.
Who are some comparables to Rupe Hintz? Do you have that, Nick?
No. What
No?
the fuck?
Why would he have that if he
I could-
wasn't
I could
top
pull it
10
up.
on his list?
Dude, he didn't even make my fucking list. Like he was.
I think he's a
feasting on
lot
my
better.
list.
I think he's a lot better than everyone says.
I don't think he's better than Nathan McKinnon or Austin Matthews, bro. That's fucked up. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Player projections. No. Is there comparisons here?
Like
I
I
don't
said,
think I can.
I am factoring in regular season and playoffs and coming into this year projection, like coming into this year. So
So you think this coming year, Rupe Hintz is going to be better than Austin Matthews? That's what you're saying.
look at the point. Like Austin Matthews had what, 11 more points than games played. Rupe Hintz had 2, and look at the
Austin
style
Matthews
of play.
was one.
Look at the style of play between the teams. Toronto's all offense.
I mean, I know.
Is it-
I'm not
It's
inherently though because I feel like
Hintz shot 20%. He's not
yeah,
going to
this guy
sustain that.
fucking shooting heater for one, and then number 2.
Draisaitl also
I know
shot
you say
20%.
Yeah, but that's the
Yeah,
same.
but he's
over him. He does it every
consistent.
year. He does that every year.
We
And
will
then
see.
my
We will see.
thing with Dallas is I think I watched Dallas play. I know they rely on Ottinger a lot, and you know they don't play the most entertaining style.
No.
I think you're overplaying it a little because they have a lot of good players. Tyler Seguin, Joe Pavelski, Jamie Benn isn't shit. I mean, he's not great, but he's not shit.
Yeah, but a lot of
Wyatt
these other
Johnson's
players,
fucking
if you're gonna
amazing
play
lately.
like, if you're gonna say like that, a lot of these other centers have a lot of good players around them too.
Yeah, I know that, but like I think you're overplaying that. Oh, just because he plays a slow style, he doesn't have that many points. You know, like I think
No,
either
I think
way,
he could have more points if he played on a
Matthews,
team
Flair.
that was more offensively driven. If he played on the New Jersey Devils, I feel
Yeah,
like he'd have more points.
Jason Robertson is like one of the best offensive producers in the league, and Rupe Hintz still didn't have crazy point production, and they play together. So it's like
Yeah, but
I don't know.
he's
That's
a
fucked
winger
up.
and he's a anyway.
And they play on the same line. You know, it's just like I don't know.
Who's
I
your
would
number
put
3,
Rupe-
Nick?
Mine is my number 3 is Nathan McKinnon.
Okay.
I don't know what else I had to say about the guy. Just won a cup. He's fucking crazy. Good in the playoffs. Play gyro. He's elite. I think Landeskog being out really hurt them. Although McKinnon still looks good. Like Darius said in the playoffs, they were fucking terrible without McKinnon or Rantanen on the ice. Which is why when we do our wingers list, Rantanen will probably be in my top 3. But yeah. Nathan McKinnon is the third best center in the NHL. Matt, who's your number 2, man?
I feel like I followed you up in a lot of these picks. You had McKinnon at 3. I had him at 2. I mean, you and Darius both said it. Like he's a machine. Especially like this year, just a 5-on-5 monster. Because out of his 111 points, only 35 came on the power play. So that's nuts.
That's fucked up.
Yeah,
Fucked up.
and he was still like a point per game in the playoffs too. Because he was the only one on the ice. Because like his average time on ice. Well, yeah, his average time on ice is almost 24 minutes.
That's crazy,
Oh
bro.
my god.
Because they had nobody
Well,
else.
they
Like,
didn't want to play fucking Evan Rodriguez half the time. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, bro. What were they doing? What? I still don't. Look, I'm sorry. We're going off topic here. Why did those guys not trade for anyone at the deadline? I know maybe they thought Landeskog was coming back. Even if he does come back, that team's not good enough.
No.
But,
if
but,
they're trying to ride it out, I mean, yeah, that's unexcusable.
that's crazy. But yeah.
Oh, look,
McKinnon at
Darius
2.
is still trying to justify his Hintz pick. He's running the
no.
numbers right now, if you can see on the video podcast.
That's funny as fuck. But Yeah, McKinnon's fine at 2, Matt. I got no problem with that. That's cool. Yeah, Darius, you have Draisaitl at 2, right?
I think that's pretty obvious at this point, right?
Yeah.
Draisaitl at number 2.
Guys, who do you have?
Number 1.
I know number one. I know number one is a little surprising. I'm gonna go with Matt P.
The crowd goes mild. I'm surprised that Darius went with the Connor and Leon duo 1 and 2. Like I wasn't gonna go that far.
I'll get into it once we get there.
Yeah. No, go for it, Darius. I think we're good.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Well, you guys had Draisaitl a little higher on your list, or lower, I should say.
Third.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little. And I know he gets like a bad. I don't know what it is. Like people talk about he's not that good defensively, whatever. Like I think on most teams he's their number 1 center. He's definitely the second best player in the NHL. Like I know the first best player is on the same team and the power play and all this stuff. He is a beast. And watching the playoffs too, like that was stupid. Like nobody does that. Like didn't he score 4 goals in a game? He was leading the league in goals until
lost.
The third round. Like he was leading the league in goals into the third round. It doesn't make sense. Like
he was the leader like of the playoffs in total, was he not?
I thought Marchessault outscored him.
He did. Eventually, but my point is he was eliminated.
Yeah, it was 2 more rounds. Yeah,
for a round after that, he's still leading the league. Like that's stupid. He put up that many points. Yeah, you can't guard this guy. So and I love the way he plays in the playoffs too. Very physical. Like he gets it. He's the second best player in the league. You can't take McDavid away from one. He's clearly the best player. But like Draisaitl, I know like you can knock him for defensive, whatever. He's a great player. Like such a good player. Definitely number 2. And I'm a Leafs fan saying this, okay? Number 2.
See, my problem with Draisaitl, he was -1 in the playoffs. So I don't know if I can put him that high. You know?
But I feel like
he's -1.
I really
-1.
Looking at the playoffs this year.
I'm being sarcastic. No,
I know. So, you know. But I know, but a lot of people are not going to be. I think if you look at Skinner this year, Matt can agree, he let in a lot of like shitty goals that put them back.
It was more so a mix of shitty goaltending and a shitty zone defense that the Oilers had.
Darnell Nurse stinks.
Or not a zone defense. It was Woodcroft had implemented.
My fault. Top 10 defenseman, number 3, Darnell Nurse. All right, anyway, man, continue.
We'll get into that in about 2 weeks. But Woodcroft and Dave Manson had implemented like a man-to-man defense in Vegas, like pretty much annihilated that completely. So yeah, it was more so. I know I'm going off topic here. It was a mix of shitty goaltending and shitty defense. But I mean, yeah, Draisaitl just a monster. I can agree with Darius. I'm not gonna. What am I gonna do? Disagree with him? Draisaitl's overrated.
Draisaitl stinks. That guy's ass. I do want to say. I know this was a little bit of a storyline. How do I check? Is there a place where I can check game logs? I guess not, eh? Nah. Okay.
Well, Hockey Reference.
Cool. Does Hockey Reference have game logs?
Yeah, they do have game logs.
Do they have playoff game logs?
Yeah.
Oh, here. Thanks, Matt. I found it. Here we go. Career playoffs. Thank you, Matt. That's very helpful. I do want to say, this is not an entirely knock on Draisaitl. I know he hurt his hand and a bunch of other stuff. In the last 4 games of the playoffs, he had 1 assist. I don't know. That was a little bit of a storyline. That's not gonna make me like put him on like number 9 or some shit. But I know he had a great playoffs. He killed fucking LA, and then obviously had like the 4-goal game against Vegas. But like from game what would it be? Game 1, 2. From game fucking 3 to 6, he had 1 assist. Like the whole like look, I'm not gonna knock the guy because Matthews fucking does that shit all the time. But I'm just saying, like I know we're commemorating him, but that was a storyline with McDavid too, I believe. Like after that game, game 2, where they did all that shit, the McDavid and Draisaitl didn't go crazy. You can also give a little credit to Vegas, you know, like it's not inherently just 2 players being bad. But if I go to McDavid's number 1 for all of us, we know that. Matthews is my number 2. I'll say that now. I'll get into that, but actually, never mind on McDavid. My fault. I didn't respect his game enough. He was still good. He had 0 points in 1 loss, but then 2 assists, 2 goals, 1 goal. So my fault, Connor. That's on me. I didn't respect you enough. But McDavid. But yeah, I'll tell you guys why I had Matthews number 2. In terms of point production, Yes, it was a little bit of a down year. I know there's a lot of stuff about him, just like in that sense, because guy had like Draisaitl eclipsed him in just like assists or something, like something insane like that. Like he beat the shit out of him in point production. But I'm not trying to deteriorate a guy from the power play. I don't. For people that are listening, I think my list was just a little bit more advanced stats oriented than your guys was, which is fine. We all view hockey differently. But Matthews was where was this? Number 2 offensively in my rankings, and then he was middle of the pack defensively, which still grades out good, and just an amazing play driver. Obviously, you'd like the point production to be a little higher, but I think the guy was playing with one working wrist. So for me, projecting into next season a little, I know Darius said the guy scoring 60 goals set him up for failure coming into the next season. But to me, if Matthews plays 82 games healthy, he played 74, but I think both of us or all three of us can agree that watching the guy play didn't look like he was all there, especially when he tried to shoot anything. It looked like he was about to die after every shot. If that guy comes in healthy next year, I think he's money for 60 goals. I know you're riding on a guy who's typically unhealthy to be healthy. This isn't the NBA. Where we're gonna bet on Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to just be healthy this year. But that's why I have him super high. I think he's amazing offensively. He's amazing defensively. I know he doesn't have the egregious point production like McDavid and Draisaitl do because they have a good power play. I'm not gonna knock a power play for being good. But yeah, that's just why I would have Matthews at number 2 over some of the other guys. And I'm not enough to admit that I like Matthews just a little bit more personally, so it might be why I have him at 2. I can admit that, but yeah, Matthews is the second best center in the league for me, especially going into next season. I think he's going to have a great year, especially when you go from Michael Bunting to Tyler Bertuzzi. I think Tyler Bertuzzi is a little bit better. So yeah, that's why I have him at number 2.
And number 1, I mean, I can't hate number 2. I mean, Matthews, you could slot him anywhere from like 2 to 5, and I wouldn't be mad at all with that. But number 1, let's just get this over with. It's Connor McDavid. Dude's a freak. I mean, what more can you say about it? Like, Nick, you can go into your advanced stats, but I mean,
forget
the guy is nuts.
Do you have eyes? Like,
yeah.
This guy's so good.
See what he does.
A blind person would say McDavid was the best center in the fucking
league.
Like
I'm not knocking advanced stats, but you recognize greatness when you see it, right?
So.
Yeah. No, I mean, just McDavid was so fucking good. Jesus Christ. I know another thing with like play driving stats is they don't really incorporate the power play as much, just because even strength is where hockey is most played, of course. But McDavid does like so much of his damage on the power play. I think with McDavid, McDavid and Draisaitl, it's hard to knock the power play because the power play is those two. So that's my opinion there. But dude, Connor McDavid is just so good. We're waiting for him to get to the Cup Finals and maybe win a cup. We're waiting for that. We're also waiting for that for Matthews too. I think those two guys, if they ever bring some hardware home, it's going to be hard to displace any of those guys. But Connor McDavid, 153 points, 64 goals, 89 assists.
71 of those points came on the power play. He had 21 power play goals and 50 power play assists.
Which is almost like he almost gets like half his work done on the power play, which is crazy. So
if I could chime in for a second,
yeah.
In terms of skill, like not only is he the best player right now, like he's probably the best player of all time
ever. Yeah,
like he is so stupid.
The only people who would disagree with that is like your father. So
yeah, it was like I watched Gretzky play. Your uncle is like,
yeah, he's ripping slap shots from just past the blue line. They go in every time.
Exactly, they fall down. Their pads get wet.
Respect
and
to Wayne.
Heavier. Stupid.
And respect to Mario
Wayne.
too.
Oh, 100%, 100%. But I think if McDavid wins one cup in Edmonton, like he might be like top 5 all time. Like he's just that good.
It's just hard. Like Crosby and like Kane and Taves and Malkin and those guys, they won so many cups. Like people, it's kind of like an expectation for guys like McDavid and Matthews to win like 2, 3, or 4. But that just doesn't happen anymore.
It's hard. And even if he wins one, like he's just a better player than them. And if he has that Stanley Cup and all these individual awards, he's just a better player than them.
Yeah, I think the problem with sports is it's judged more on accomplishments than like who you are as a player. That's just how it is.
No, it's true. But I'm saying if he achieves at least one of those, like he's done it. You know what I mean? So
you could win all those. You could win all those like individual trophies, but like the one thing people harp on you the most is like, do you have that ring? Like you can see in other sports too, like football. Like 100%. Dan Marino doesn't have a ring, so people don't really put him up in like the top QB lists or in basketball. guys like Karl Malone, or uh, or Gary Payton.
There might be another reason why Karl Malone isn't that high.
Yeah, but there might be. But
hey,
it's
Gary Payton has a ring, man. Don't disrespect him.
Gary Payton. Oh, written Miami, right? Okay, yep. I couldn't name another
Come on,
player.
man.
Charles Barkley. There's one.
Okay, Barkley. It's like that's the one thing, and they harp on you. It's like you gotta recognize something else. Yeah.
It ain't easy.
It ain't easy. Unless you're like Jean Beliveau in a 16 league. But anyways.
The league's 13 cups, baby. 13. We're second. Yeah. Let's go. We're second out of 6 teams. All right. Yeah, that's great. To be honest, guys, I had no problems with your list except Darius with hints at 3. That one's a little appalling to me. But other than that, I don't know if you guys had any did you guys? Okay, let me read the list out, and then we will have our final wrap up on this conversation here. List videos are fun. Next week, I think we'll run defensemen. I think
sure
we'll do defensemen.
You
gotta do wingers too.
Yep, and then I don't know if we'll do goalies. It's kind of hard to do
it's
that.
kind of.
I mean, top 10 after like 5 goalies. That's where it starts to like drop off.
Yeah, you could just anyway. Okay, number 10. Here's mass list. Number 10, Jack Eichel. Number 9, Braden Point. Number 8, Sidney Crosby. Number 7, Alexander Barkov. Number 6, Elias Pettersson. Number 5, Jack Hughes. Number 4, Austin Matthews. Number 3, Leon Draisaitl. And is that wrong? No. Number 3, right. Leon Draisaitl. Number 2, Nathan McKinnon. Because I didn't write McDavid down yet. It was confusing me.
Right.
Number 2, Nathan McKinnon. Number 1, Connor McDavid. Darius's list, number 10, number 10, Taze Thompson. Number 9, Jack Hughes. Number 8, Jack Eichel. Number 7, Alexander Barkov. Number 6, Sidney Crosby. Number 5, Austin Matthews. Number 4, Nathan McKinnon. Number 3, Rupe Hintz. Number 2, Leon Draisaitl. Number 1, Connor McDavid. And my list was, number 10, Nico Hischier. Number 9, Braden Point. Number 8, Alex Barkov. Number 7, Jack Eichel. Number 6, Jack Hughes. Number 5, Leon Draisaitl. Number 4, Elias Pettersson. Number 3, Nathan McKinnon. Number 2, Austin Matthews. Number 1, Connor McDavid. I like your guys' list. The Rupe Hintz thing is crazy to me, but other than that, I like all your guys' lists. I think we're pretty good.
Pretty spot on, yeah. Right.
Yeah. There. Is there anything you guys needed more explanation on from anyone else? Or?
Yeah, I need more explanation on Rupe Hintz. Let me just get that out of the room.
No, I gave my explanation.
I'm still befuddled.
I think the explanation comes this season, gentlemen. So we will definitely recap at the end of this season and see where we stand with these predictions. We didn't do this last year. So it should be exciting.
I had Rupe Hintz number 3 last year. You're a bozo.
I don't know if I would have. I don't know if I would have.
I think Rupe Hintz is fucking amazing. I think
Draisaitl on your list should have been a little bit higher, but I don't think it's ridiculous because the rest of your list made sense.
Yeah, but your Rupe Hintz shit didn't make any sense.
But I think But have you watched Rupe Hintz?
No, Nick. We'll see this season.
We will see this season.
We'll see this season. Hey man, I can see Jason Robertson and Rupe Hintz putting up 100 points each. So I honestly wins. Easily. I think it's early. You're a little early on him. Just generally speaking. But like I could have honestly at early stages on my list I did have him in my top 10. It's just when I dove into it a little more he did leave. But next season, I think him and Taze Thompson definitely enter my top 10. I could see honestly I don't see anybody on my list kind of dropping out. I could just see people getting better. So I know number 10 Nico Hischier is a little bit of a crazy pick for me. I just I kind of feel like he deserved it after the season he had. I think he deserves some love. So yeah, I think he's a good center.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. There's a couple guys from
that whole Devils team 15. Is fantastic.
Yeah. There's a couple guys 8 to 15 that if you switch them in and out, nobody's gonna argue that, right?
No, literally
they're right there. So
here, just cause we're here, I'll give you guys my short list. I had 22 players here. When I was going through the team, so I had Pettersson, McDavid, Matthews, McKinnon. If I did my shit just by numbers purely, just the model I did, division and whatever, my list would have been Pettersson, McDavid, Matthews, McKinnon, Hischier, Eichel, Beniers, Hughes, Hintz, Barkov. So obviously you have to account for. I think obviously I wanted to do numbers and I want to include my own subjective eye test, which is why my list obviously changed. If I made my list like this, Draisaitl would have been 11. Obviously not. Yeah. It would have been Draisaitl 11, Aho 12, Crosby 13, then Tage Thompson, John Tavares, Mika Zibanejad, Matt Barzal, Tim Stützle, Dylan Larkin. You know, bro. You know who stinks, bro? Fucking Evgeny Malkin stinks. Like when I was digging into that guy does not play. That guy has fallen off a cliff in terms of play driving.
He's hurt all the time. Like he's older. Like
still puts up those points though. So and then another thing that happened while I was doing my list, I forgot about Braden Point, so I had to go there last second and make sure he was on my list. Guy had 95 points and 50 goals. He should probably be in the top 10 centers.
Most quietest 50-goal season ever. I'm saying that right now.
But even I forgot about him. And then some other guys I did look at for a while. I looked at Jared McCann and Steven Stamkos. They don't play center anymore. So yeah. So that was that. And I was interested in Tim Stützle because he had 90 points. It was a little bit of a Mickey Mouse 90 points. Sorry, Sims fans. It was a little bit of a Mickey Mouse 90 points.
Yeah, no, I had Stützle like a little bit below like top 20. Sorry, a little bit higher than top 20. Sorry.
He was he would have been what? 19th for me.
Yeah. So
that makes sense. And you know what? Yeah. I was honestly a lot of fun making this, guys. This was really fun.
This was fun. I'm excited for defensemen because I think that could get even crazier, honestly.
Yeah, it depends on what you value, right? Like some people might have Carlson number 1, or some people might not even have him in their top 5.
Yeah, exactly. So
that'll
be interesting.
Matt, I will say though, unfortunately, Darnell Nurse is not going to make my list.
Damn.
Why not?
All right, we'll get ready for my explanation soon.
Number 3, Darnell Nurse, Edmonton
Number
Oilers.
3, that's far too low. Come on.
Darnell Nurse isn't even the best defenseman on his team, bro. He's not even the 3rd best defenseman on his team.
Well, you'd have Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah.
Low-key,
that's
bro.
Respectable.
Low-key, bro. Brett Kulak better than Darnell Nurse. Low-key, though.
That's not really low-key. I mean, that's a little obvious. That's a little obvious. But where would you rank Philip Broberg?
We are so removed from that argument.
Philip Broberg, he's not making any list. We can do a top 100 list. We do a top 100 list. He's not making that
top
shit.
100,
top 100 seeds.
Top AHL players.
Top best
Whoa,
AHL.
AHL, come on.
No, I'm joking.
Come on, put some respect on Bakersfield Condors legend, Philip Broberg. Come on.
No, I gotta give it to William Lagesson, Leafs legend. Marlies legend. So
Habs legend, too.
That's
true,
right. That's where he came from.
How the fuck did they make that? Anyway, guys, we all McDavid number 1. And, well, I think I shouldn't, well, Darius is going to edit some of this shit, and then we'll have some shorts, all that good stuff. And then I think I'll do an Instagram post with graphics of our lists. I don't know when I'll do that, but I'll do it eventually. So, that'll be a thing that I also do. And, yeah, guys, let us know in the comments whose list was the best. Let us know what you hated. Let us know what you liked. Please don't be too mean to me. I tried. Please don't be too mean to Darius. I know we put Rupe Hintz number 3, but you can be civil, okay? You can be civil.
You can be mean to me. It's fine. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that agree with me. All right. How about that?
Yeah, all the Dallas Stars fans. Yeah. Let's go.
Exactly.
Jason
Robertson has
all
upvoted.
one Dallas Stars fans.
Hey, come on, man. Their arenas are full in the playoffs. Let's give them some credit. Jeez.
Dallas has fans. Come on.
That's because that's the only place in Dallas that has AC in May. Come on.
You're fucked. Okay, guys. With that being said, subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Follow all our Twitters. Do all that fun stuff. Rate the show on Spotify if you liked it. Rate on Apple Music if you liked it. And if you didn't like it, I'm not that sorry. Because this is who we are. So yeah, that's
you can
cool.
still let us know.
Yeah.
Still let us know, actually. Please do.
I think you should. But anyways, guys, listen to this in the day. Have a great day. Listen to this at night. Have a great night. And if you're listening to this while driving, I hope Rupe Hintz didn't make you crash. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, everyone. I'll see you guys next week with our top 10 defenseman list. Peace out.
For more content, visit our YouTube channel and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the guys on social media at Matt_Mondays, at Nick LaFlame, and at Darius Dominguez.